Good afternoon, everyone. Andrew Kessler reporting from Washington, D.C. Sorry I couldn't be with you live today. There's a lot going on, both because of what's happening in Washington, around the world, and just in terms of the policy we're working on. So I did want to give you an update about our activities so far and what we can be expecting in the upcoming weeks and months. Just to give you a quick recap in terms of legislation we're working on, in the recent weeks, we've seen some really good legislation introduced over in the Senate. Um, the first has to do with fentanyl test strips. There is a bill called the ALERT Act, ALERT, which stands for Advancing Life Saving Efforts with Rapid Test Strips for Communities Act. This will take test strips off the list that categorizes them as drug paraphernalia. Because they are currently on such a list, federal funds can't be used for their purchase. So, this legislation would ensure that state and local communities can use funds like SOR grants or first responder overdose grants to purchase and distribute test strips for fentanyl or xylazine. This legislation was introduced by Senator Hassan of New Hampshire and Senator Cornyn of Texas, making it very bipartisan. Senator Hassan also introduced legislation that would expand naloxone use and distribution. This is also a bipartisan bill, as Senator Moore Capito of West Virginia was also a co-sponsor. So this bill would ensure that first responders and other essential community members have access to training for naloxone and other overdose reversal drugs. So that legislation, in substance, is of course everything we support. The process gets tricky. How are we going to find a mechanism to move this legislation forward? Because obviously, these pieces of legislation are rather small and won't move by themselves. So the natural place for them is in the Support Act and Support Act reauthorization. We were hopeful that sometime in September or even October, we would get a hearing in the Senate from the Help Committee on Support Act reauthorization. We haven't seen that scheduled yet. And as always, the calendar is our biggest concern, not the actual legislation, which we seem to have enough support for. With what's going on in the House, and this kind of leads me into a segue, what's going on in the House is really going to wreak havoc on the legislative calendar for the rest of the year. If they can elect a speaker quickly, they can get back to business. They can finish their appropriations, which they have not done yet. They can collaborate with the Senate on overall appropriations numbers, which they have not done yet. And they could get to the business of working with the Senate on legislation that needs to work out differences, such as the Support Act. The Senate version right now is looking a little different from the House version. So, we'd like a quick resolution to the speakership debate. If they can't fix that within the next 5 weeks, another shutdown is almost certain to happen. What does that mean? Hopefully, I will be able to speak to you again next month and we will have some resolution. If it looks like we're on the precipice of another shutdown, let's address that at next month's meeting in terms of its impact for our recovery communities and recovery community allies. Just a couple more things. September obviously was Recovery Month and a very successful one. Faces and Voices hosted their lunch at Union Station, where we received a presidential proclamation declaring September Recovery Month from the President of the United States, and our Faces and Voices of Recovery leadership was also in attendance at the White House Recovery Summit at the end of September. So another very successful recovery month for us. Also in September, which was quite busy for us, we were in attendance at a hearing of the Drug Enforcement Agency concerning their rules on telehealth. Some of you may remember that the ability to receive a buprenorphine prescription via a telehealth visit without an in-person visit was up for debate. The DEA has decided to extend the COVID emergency rules through 2024. So we have at least another 14 months of people being able to access buprenorphine through a prescription via telehealth with their physician without requiring an in-person visit. So it's a little bit of kick the can because the rule hasn't been changed permanently to our liking, but we are pleased that we have another 13, 14 months to work this out, and at least another year of as many people as possible accessing buprenorphine. So all in all, September, a lot going on that continues into October, but obviously we're looking at things that will be impacted by the bigger picture. Not only do we now have another speaker debate in the House that could impact the shutdown, we have two international conflicts, two wars simultaneously with American allies involved that will suck up a lot of the oxygen in terms of the time and money coming out of Washington. So we just have to find our spots and make sure that we're successful. So that's it for this month's update. I'm sorry for not introducing my hat earlier. The Bowie Bay Sox, the AA affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. I'm not a big Oriole fan, but they are in the playoffs currently, and I have a lot of friends who root for them. And Bowie is my local minor league team, so I've seen a lot of their players come through that system. So I like the players, if not the team. So Bowie Bay Sox for this month. So I want to thank all of you for your involvement in Recovery Month in September. I want to wish you, as we think about all these conflicts in the world and causing a lot of confusion, I just want to wish everyone good mental health and good vibes. People in recovery obviously need always appreciate those good vibes, and that's who we work with, so I want to send those your way. And so that's it. And again, I apologize for not being here in person, but I will be here back in person next month. So everybody take care, and I'll talk to you soon.